New Mandela Eccles Road to open Thursday. Norton and Lawrence now officially parliamentarians. Starbucks is coming to Guyana. And another reason why we need to audit Exxon's expenses now. I am Enrico Bulford, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. The Mandela Avenue to Eccles 4-lane road will be officially open for traffic tomorrow evening. The entire project is valued at $2.3 billion Guyana dollars. It was undertaken by the Ministry of Housing and Water, and a total of 6 contractors work on the project. The second phase of the project is expected to link the communities of Eccles and Great Diamond. A 4-lane road is already under construction from the Eccles Providence area to Great Diamond. 12 contractors are working on that part of the project. At the start of the sitting of the National Assembly on Wednesday, Aubrey Norton and Volder Lawrence were sworn in as the 2 newest opposition MPs. Or rather, they're back in their old positions. Norton is expected to also become the new opposition leader when Speaker of the National Assembly, Mansour Nadir, convenes a meeting of all opposition MPs at the end of Wednesday's sitting. After the oath was taken, Nadir offered congratulations and welcomed the duo back to the House. GECOM has appointed Melanie Marshall as the Commission's voter registration manager. GECOM noted that Marshall's confirmation was premised on the fact that she was the only applicant that met all of the required criteria for the position, a sad reflection of the qualifications of our nation's pool of professionals. Marshall has been employed with GECOM for 16 years, 6 of which she has been acting in the capacity of acting voter registration manager. She holds a Commonwealth Master of Public Administration and a Bachelor of Science in Public Management from the University of Guyana. On Monday, the president offered no real solutions for Berbicians requesting a government buyout of the Berbice Bridge and a reduction in the tolls. Instead, he said that he is willing to hold talks with the shareholders of the company, even as he insisted that Guyana is a free and open society and that government cannot take over the facility. Again, showing that the government is ultimately a toothless poodle when matched to the millionaires and billionaires in this nation. And if that doesn't concern you, then I don't know what will. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's car of the day. Currently on sale is this 2014 RDQ3. It comes with Bluetooth, Mark Williams, new sires, TV, CD, stereo, fog lamps, electronic parking brake, back camera, and much, much more. Buy cash for $5.6 million. All paid down as low as $1,120,000 down, with around $108,000 monthly for 5 years, and it's yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info, or visit the showrooms at Lot 171 Peter Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street, and tell Enrico sent you for this sweet, sweet deal. Starbucks is coming to Guyana. Guyana's first store is expected to be open between September to November of this year by Trinidadian-based Prestige Holdings Limited, which won the development rights for the nation. Starbucks currently has a presence of more than 70 stores across 10 markets in the Caribbean. In the English-speaking Caribbean, Caribbean Coffee Traders Limited, a joint venture between Ian Deere and Adam Stewart, has the rights to develop stores in Jamaica, Barbados, Turks and Caicos, the Cayman Islands, and Panama, and apparently here too. According to the police, at around 6 p.m. on Tuesday, a 25-year-old male sex worker was allegedly assaulted by a 34-year-old welder who is currently in police custody. The police said that the male was walking to a store when the suspect hurled a derogatory remark at him and told him to get out of the street. Well, he responded to the heckling in, well, exactly the same way you'd expect a person of such a profession to respond to such a heckling. Well, the two got into an argument before the suspect reportedly fired a shot at the victim, causing him to flee. The crime was reported, and the suspect was arrested shortly thereafter. Early this morning, 29-year-old gold miner Roy Harry was fatally stabbed during an argument with his co-worker at New Star Back Dam in Berbice. The 21-year-old suspect was caught trying to escape and has reportedly confessed to the crime. The two men were drinking when they ended up having a misunderstanding over a woman. Eventually, things simmered down, and they returned to the mining camp. But around 3 a.m., they got into another argument during which the suspect stabbed Harry. Soon after, he told another co-worker about the incident and then left the area, claiming that he was going to the police to report the matter. However, Green called the cops, who found him at around 8 a.m. walking along a trail at Reserve Berbice in Region 1. He is currently awaiting charges. You can multiply your cash by selling digital top-up. This is a legit way you can earn some extra money at your business or to supplement your current side hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy by linking with Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. A 19-year-old teacher from Linden was stabbed to death by her 21-year-old boyfriend this morning at his home in Craig on the East Bank. He is currently in police custody and has reportedly confessed to the murder. He had stabbed her in the neck during an argument this morning. The boyfriend's sister took him to the Grove police station where he allegedly told the police of his actions. Detectives have already reached the scene and investigations are ongoing. Now for today's oil update. CGX Energy and Frontera Energy Corporation have sealed a US $35 million loan agreement to finance drilling in the quarantine block and the construction of a Berbice deepwater port. The US $35 million loan will be secured by all of the assets of CGX, and a move that could see Frontera expanding its ownership of CGX's shares. CGX operates both Quarantine and Demerara offshore oil blocks with 66.67% stakes, and Frontera holds the remaining 33.33%. Now for our stupid news of the day. You know what I think is stupid? Price gouging, especially during a pandemic. And, unfortunately, we saw it a lot during the pandemic, when the cost of hand sanitizers and face masks doubled. And we also saw it in Rona testing. Well, Starbuck News is now telling us that at the height of the pandemic last year, US-based medical services provider Remote MD charged 15 oil services workers US $350, or about 70,000 Guyana dollars each, for a rapid test, far higher than local labs charge. Starbuck News published a bill to Geico Construction on February 19th last year for 15 rapid tests totaling US $5,250, or just over 1 million Guyana dollars. Yes, that's how much they charge these people. Nearly $1 million Guyana dollars for said Rona tests. Now, while this figure in itself is honestly not large when you think about it, I mean, come on, we're talking about oil companies here, but it should have been lower. Worse yet, it's actually not Geico who is going to end up paying for this. Rather, it's going to be you, me, and every other taxpayer in Guyana will end up paying for the overpriced Rona test when Exxon eventually claims this under the current cost recovery agreement. Up to 75% of each year's oil revenue can be claimed by ExxonMobil and its partners as cost oil. The remaining 25% profit oil is split evenly between Guyana on one hand and ExxonMobil and its partners on the other. There was a lot of price gouging and high levels of inflation over the past year. This is why it's even more important than ever that we pressure the nation's leaders to actually audit Exxon's expense reports, the ones that they give us, the ones that we didn't do in the past, and that we need to do now. Honestly, we need to pay the money it costs to get some of the best and most capable international accounting firms to examine the bills with a fine-tooth comb. It doesn't matter the cost, because honestly, what matters is that we get our savings. And if they are willing, Exxon, that is. If Exxon is willing to spend our nation's money on overpriced Rona tests, then who knows what other expenses they might try to sneak in there just because they can. And if it's inconceivable for you to believe that a company that honestly lied about climate change for over 40 years could be lying to us about how much money they spent here, then that is pretty stupid. Who said luxury can't be affordable? Move into your own home in 2022. Linden Estates, West Coast MRR properties are within your reach. Move out of the landlord's plate and put that rent money towards your own 5,000 square foot property. Call or WhatsApp 592-618-5702 for more info. Now for our uncut news, Fuse poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. Yesterday's question was about David Ansing and his case. Do you believe that justice will be served, or will this just end up as another Gary Best? Lush says, the evidence is too clear, man, and I hope he gets jailed to be made an example of. However, him being jailed depends on three things. First, whether the daughter pressed charges all the way to sentencing or not. Second, whether or not civil society can take on the case if the daughter chooses to take a restraining order and call it George. Civil society still ain't making enough racket on this. And finally, it depends on the lawyer that the abuser hires. If Gary Best can get out of jail with a good lawyer, what's to stop the abuser too? Exactly. My concern exactly. RC View Farm says, Singh must be made an example of by the courts, for all eyes are watching and waiting to see if the system works fairly. Singh should pay a large fine for his asinine behavior, and since he has lots of money, he must donate $2 million to organizations for victims of abuse. He must also pay his daughter $10 million, purchase her house, and report to anger management counseling for 3 years. Oh, I love it! Yes, run those pockets! And finally, Joshua Welch says, Bro, this is Ghana. We all know all he needs to do is just pass some money, make some promises, and this will just disappear. And if that happens, it would be a disgrace to know that they have pretty clear evidence that shows their assault, and they are taking their precious time with the matter, while your young lady has to deal with the psychological effects. It's just a disgrace. I do hope that the public figures, the true patriotic ones, unlike critics, make their voices heard on this case, so that the young lady and others in the future can have fair and swift justice. I agree 100%. So, before we get to tonight's question, do you own a truck? No, not the disease. I mean a real truck, like Golf, International, Freightliner, Bedford TM, or Scammell. Then come, get high-quality truck parts at the lowest prices at Powered Automotive. Visit them at Lot 1161 EE Eccles, or call them on telephone number 697-0171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. Now for tonight's question. How do you feel about Starbucks coming to Guyana? Do you think it's a sign of good things to come? Or is this just, I don't know, neocolonialism or something? I want you to think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Pulford saying good night, folks.